Step into the spotlight of Sans Showbiz, guiding you through the stories behind the stars with Nigel Clarkson. Our guest today chatting to Nigel Clarkson, Caroline Gilmour, and Marissa Keltie, who are the Eves.
How are you? All right?
We're good. How are you, Nige?
I'm all right, thanks. Yeah, great. I was reading up on you today. I was making quite a few notes, and you sent a lot of information through to me. And wow, you've been busy of late, haven't you? You really have. Last year, especially.
We're knackered. We're knackered.
That last time.
Yeah, it never changes.
Yeah, you've been all these gigs that you've been doing as well, and Skerrivo, you've been supporting them, haven't you, around all last year, 2023. Super busy.
Yeah, it's been 3 separate tours with them now down in England, and then a few of their Scottish shows as well. So that's been an amazing opportunity. Some of the venues that these boys have played at, sold out shows to 2,000 to 2,500 people. It's just been incredible. So
Wow.
yeah.
So you've had a lot of experience with these bigger gigs now, haven't you, going around? And I mean, you've done a fair few gigs already, haven't you? But have they got really big gigs, Skerrivo? They seem to be very, very, very popular.
They're doing really well up here. Also, they're in the States at the moment. Actually, they're on tour in America, so they're doing really, really well.
Yeah.
And it was such an honor and a privilege to be asked to join them on all their tours to date so far. It's been really, really great, isn't it?
Amazing.
Yeah.
They're a nice bunch of lads and good fun to be around, and their fans are lovely too. Really, really lovely fans.
Yeah.
Caring people. And yeah, it's just great to share the stage with them and be part of it all.
Yeah, because you've done a lot of support for a lot of other artists as well. Some big names I've noticed. And I was going to ask you who's the most friendliest guys. Well, you've nearly just answered that, haven't you, at this stage? But is there anybody that's really down to earth of these artists that you meet? You know, I mean, you're going to get all sorts of scales, aren't you? You're going to get sort of slightly diva-ish people, aren't you? You know what I mean? I've come across them in this business, but you're going to come across really nice people as well, aren't you? And many, many nice. Most people are really lovely, aren't they? But who's your favourites? Who have you sat down and had a good chinwag with after a gig or something?
Sister Sledge.
Oh, Sister Sledge were so genuinely kind.
They were amazing. Yeah, they were so
very
nice.
humble, and
yeah, we got a good chat with them and their family and the rest of the band and everything. We got a nice picture with them, and they were just so lovely, not diva-ish at all. You know,
they keep in touch on Instagram with us now as well. So we send messages and you know how we're doing and things, which is just really lovely. It's like, oh my God, we're talking to the band members and Sister Sledge like they're old friends. It's lovely.
Yeah. I mean, I remember them as a kid, and they set off in the late 70s, didn't they, when they first originally got going?
They did, yeah. So there's one original member left because sadly one of the sisters died, and I think the other one left. So, but they've kind of built on a legacy of the Sister Sledge name. So they've brought like their family in now. So it's the family members plus the one original member.
Yeah.
They're all such a talented bunch of people, and it was a masterclass in watching them perform and how to keep a crowd engaged. But we gave it a fairly good kind of warm up for them. I think that we did pretty well. That was at a festival called Fringe by the Sea. So it was a sold out show for about 2,000 people on a Friday night in Scotland. So you can imagine the crowd were up for it from the word go. So we didn't really have much to do to warm them up, to be honest. So
I was going to ask you, who sorts that out then? You know, when you get a support job and you're going along, who actually sorts all that out? Do you do that yourselves, or how's that come about?
Yeah,
pretty much manager Caroline.
Me here, so I'm the manager of the band now. I do all the gig bookings, all the kind of managerial admin tasks. So I deal with all the sales basically. So yeah, we're kind of self-sufficient.
So did you divide the tasks up between you, both of you? Like, Marissa look after something and then you look after something else? How's it work?
Yeah, you do most of the kind of communications with people, contracts and tech specs and things like that.
Finances and
and I'll do other tasks like creating videos and stuff like that we do, other content, styling and things like that. So we just play to our strengths really, and just muck in and do what we can. There's always something to do.
Because when I was reading all about you, I mean, you're like multi-talented about everything that you're doing, aren't you? Because you're not just doing the eaves, there's other parts to you as well, isn't other dimensions. And I noticed that you were doing some advertising. Is that right, Marissa?
I work mainly as a voiceover artist, so
Yeah.
yeah, so that's kind of like my day job, if you like. That's what pays a lot of the bills. So yeah, and just do the music alongside that, and you've got
And modelling, you do some modelling as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
I try to do a little bit of modelling, but I don't get very far with that. For obvious reasons.
Not at all.
Not at
Not at all,
all.
Nige.
Not at all.
I was going to ask you, how did it all come about then? Because there's going to be people listening to the podcast wonder how you got together in the first place. Can you tell everybody how that came about?
So back in 2016, I was looking for someone to write with, and I heard about Caroline on the kind of like Edinburgh scene. We'd actually passed each other quite a few times, and I
Yeah.
think we lived on the same street at one point. We played in the same bars. We knew a lot of the same musicians.
Yeah.
And I listened to Caroline's stuff and thought, let's see if we can make this happen. So I got in touch to see if she wanted to write. At the time, she was busy with our solo EP at the time, and our own stuff. But we got together, I think, about a month after that for a cup of coffee and just chatted everything through, and then started writing together shortly after that. And yeah, that was it.
That was it. The songs just started flowing and the magic started to happen. And we thought, here, should we give this a go? Shall we see how this sounds?
Yeah.
And we were quite pleased with the music that we were writing together, because although we were both solo artists way back, I don't know, there was just something nice about the music that we were writing together. It was quite fresh, it was quite upbeat, and I just thought, let's see how this goes. And yeah, so we're in 2024 now, and we're still we're still here doing it. Yeah,
it's nice to have friends as well, to do it alongside.
Yeah, I was going to say you have to be good friends as well to do that. To be a very successful duo. Like, were you friends before, or did you just become friends?
So we just knew about each other on the scene. Actually, there's a funny story. So we figured out, or you told me, Marissa, that in 2012, I apparently emailed you because I was looking for a keyboard player for my band at the time. So my endeavours, I was looking for session players. So I'd heard about her and thought, oh, she's good, and I wrote to you, and you turned me down. You said, I'm too busy, Caroline. I'm too busy.
We both forgot about it, because you'd forgotten about it, and I'd forgotten about it, and I only realised that I think I was looking for another email that Caroline had sent me, and I typed in, you type in your email inbox if you're searching for something, type in a name or a subject or whatever, and I just typed in your name, and then there was
2012.
There was a historical email from back in 2012, and I was like, oh my god, you actually asked me to play keyboards for you. But
I think what prompted the contact from you was we were actually booked to play the same venue on the same day, but at different times. It was for MTV. It was I think it was for HIV awareness or something. Makeup store in Edinburgh, and so we didn't know that we were playing, but when I got there, her name was on the board, but she played literally just before I got there and had left. I thought, oh, that's that Marissa Keltie. I must get back in touch with her, and and we met for that coffee. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've had a couple of great songs as well. You've had many songs, not just a couple of great songs, but two big songs, wasn't there? There was Big Love, and I remember playing that here when we had Sans Radio, and I think we were playing it for like over 6 months, because it was one of those songs that just kept going, didn't it? It was really good. Was it for the summer? Was it a summertime song, I think, or something? Was it around that period?
What was it?
Women's football. So I think, did we put it out in the April? I can't even remember now.
It might have been like sort of. I remember doing the photo shoot for it, and it was still cold in Scotland, but it wasn't winter. I think it was maybe sort of springtime.
I think that's the last time I spoke to you about, because we were talking about you wanted a big summer song, that would go through the summer. And we
Yeah.
felt that was like the one, wasn't it? And it proved to be, didn't it? Really, it really went well, that one.
It did well. It got a couple of spot plays on Radio 2. It got on loads of playlists.
Yeah.
Like a lot of stations in Ireland, actually. Quite a lot of radio stations there. And then it was adopted as the official anthem for Scottish women's football. So
Yeah.
it seemed to do pretty well. Yeah.
Brilliant, that. I mean, you've done some big gigs as well. Did you do a performance before the rugby? Am I right in saying?
We did.
Yeah.
That
How many was
the-
there? What was the
Oh, it was sold
crowd?
out. Oh, the crowd was about, I want to say 60,000, but
Wow.
so we were in the fan village,
Yeah.
which just absolutely mental. So you can imagine the fan village, right? You can just
Yeah.
imagine. And it was the day that Scotland were playing Wales for, I think, the Doddy Weir Cup.
Right.
Scotland won it. And of course, you can imagine. So we actually played before the game, and then we played after the game as well. And
Wow.
the place was jumping. It was
What
good.
was
It was
that?
it was a cold day though.
Reason.
Yeah.
cool.
Did it
We're
make you
playing-
nervous before you performed? Were you a little bit on edge or not? Did you not get on edge?
It
Sometimes it really depends on the day.
Yeah.
You're
More of
feeling
excitement, isn't it, really? I think, isn't it? Adrenaline and a bit of excitement mixed in. Is that right?
Sometimes I really do struggle with it. I get quite anxious. It's normally the danger zone's about half an hour before we're due
Right.
to go on stage, and that's when I just feel like my stomach's just like a washing
Yeah.
machine. And as much as I'm telling myself, it's fine, you've done this a million times before, everyone's really lovely, because
Yeah.
no one wants to see you fail, Caroline. Just go out there and do the gig and just do what you do. And you're telling yourself this, but your stomach's going, nah.
Yeah, no. The biggest crowd I've ever actually done is like a Christmas switch, like the Christmas light switch on. And I think they sent me up to Barrow in Furness. And they said, you can go on your own and you can dress as a naughty gnome and do the stage in front of 5,000 people. So I was dressed as a naughty gnome with a big wig on. And we had a problem with the Christmas lights. And they said, oh, you'll have to keep talking for about half an hour. Oh, no, what am I going to talk about? And then there's a lady from Coronation Street. She came along, one of the actors, and she kept it going. But that's the biggest crowd I've ever been in front of. And that was quite, I wouldn't say nerve-wracking. I found it quite exciting, but you're on edge, definitely. But I mean, your sort of size of crowds, I mean, at the rugby and that, I'd be overwhelmed with that. I really would.
I think that there's a moment though, isn't there, when you do that first song and you get a good reaction, you
Yeah.
find yourself just kind of settling into it, and then before you know it, it's done. It
Yeah.
goes really quickly.
Yeah, there's a strange sort of sense of time on stage. It's not like normal time.
Right. Yeah.
It either goes really, really, really super fast, and you think, "Wow, that's like 7 songs like that," or if you can either be like super hyper aware, and it's
Yeah.
almost like the game stops and it goes a lot slower. More often than not, I think it goes much faster than what real time feels like. But
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
can go slow as well. It just depends.
It's got its own time zone,
Yeah.
and it very much depends on the crowd, and also just your perception of that crowd and how you feel the energy. So, like,
Yeah.
there have been times that we've been on stage thinking they're not enjoying this. You can just see their faces; they're all just standing watching, and that's the hardest thing, being a kind of warm-up act, if you will, for quite a lot of the opening slots that we've done, because it isn't our audience, it's someone else's audience.
Right.
And you're like, oh God, they hate us. And we look at each other and we're like, just keep smiling and just keep singing. And the sweat's lashing off you. And you're like, God, get me off the stage. And then you go off and you're at the merchandise and it's mobbed. And everyone's coming up to you going, you were amazing. We loved it. And you
Yeah.
feel like saying, why didn't you show it? I would have completely relaxed on stage.
You
You
just
know?
have to realize that not everybody. Some
Yeah.
people can watch a performance and be really enjoying it and not show it. And
Yeah.
to be fair,
Yeah.
like when I go to a concert, I don't jump around. I don't
No.
do any of that sort of stuff. I watch, and I probably intently watch, and I listen, and I really enjoy it. And I
Yeah.
probably look quite serious. I probably don't look like I'm enjoying it. So you just have to realize that, you know, not everybody. That some people enjoy it, but they can look quite serious.
Mm.
So it can be quite hard to read the audience sometimes. You just have to take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah.
And not take it personally if people look miserable, because sometimes they are actually enjoying it.
That's me. I'm always just sat there, like you said, I'm stood there and I'm just taking it all in. I'm thinking
Yeah.
about all the technical side of it and daft things like that when other people are enjoying the actual,
Yeah.
the concert. But yeah, we've had some good concerts around here. But if the festivals are they expanding a little bit now? There seems to be a few more about last year. Is that right in saying that?
Yeah, there's been quite an explosion, I think, all over the UK of festivals, boutique festivals, small festivals, particularly on the islands, in Scotland, and but then I guess on the other hand, you've seen quite a lot of festivals fold and have to cancel because they can't shift tickets, or just the cost of everything's gone up. So it doesn't matter how many tickets you've sold, you're just never going to make a profit for these events companies that put it on. So but there's definitely been an explosion, because I think back to a time in Scotland where really you just had like Tea in the Park.
Yeah, that was it.
I honestly can't think of
Yeah.
any other festival. And now you've got Belladrum, you've got Transmit, you've got Butefest, you've got Tyree Festival, you've got EDF, you've got all these
Yeah.
amazing festivals. There's so much choice out there now for people.
Yeah, that's a good thing, isn't it?
Brilliant thing, a brilliant thing.
I was going to ask you, has the music industry changed? Has it changed for you in the last 5 years? In any good way or any bad way? Or
It's a tough one. It's definitely in the past 5 years, or maybe not so much in the past 5 years, certainly in the past like sort of 10, 15 years, I think.
yeah,
I think it's your perception of what is the music industry
yeah,
versus what the reality is, I think, is more something I could answer, because when you're on the outside looking in, you think that the music industry is this big glamorous machine that just produces stars
yeah,
and hits and makes lots of money for people, and that couldn't be further from the truth. There's like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people scrambling to get these spots at festivals even. It's so competitive. But also the whole landscape's changed in the terms of social media and
yeah,
what that brought about for artists and the extra responsibilities that artists have to bear now, and being social media content managers, doing your own PR and your own promotion before a record label will even sniff near you. You know,
yeah,
how many followers do you have? How many Spotify listeners have you had? How many streams have you had?
right.
You know, and there's a lot of interest based on data and metrics now.
It's
As
more
a-
accountable, is it, these days? Everybody's accounting for everything.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the good old days of scouts going to bars and open mic nights and looking for people, I don't see that anymore. I could be wrong, but I don't see anyone. And like the numbers that are going to some gigs, like I've seen a lot of artists have had to cancel tours and they've had to cancel gigs because all the venues are either too expensive and they can't shift the tickets because people want to see live music, or it's just too expensive, the cost of the outlay to pay for musicians and to pay the cost of the venue and the promoters, and often the artist comes away with the smallest slice, if any slice, of the pie. So it's a really difficult industry, Nigel, I would say.
I've noticed a lot of people now, a lot of artists are going like for their own record label. Is that becoming more common?
Yeah, I think so. I think like Caroline says, the artist usually gets the smallest slice of the pie, and with the major labels, you really do get very, very little, and you also get very little control of
Yeah,
who your music's put out there, when it's put out there. You'll have probably heard about Ray, that the artist that
She just won all the Brits.
she just won all the Brits.
yeah.
She had a major record deal, and the record label, they just lose interest or something.
No, so I think she was signed on a 4-album deal and she had an album ready to go, but she was also a writer for other people, and was doing really well writing for big artists. So the label just wanted her to keep pumping out the tunes for other people. And she's like, well, I want to do my own album. I have an album ready to go. And they wouldn't let her put it out. they didn't think that she had what it took to put out the record, and then she's just basically gone independent and won 6 Brits, which is a record.
Yeah.
And that's the debate at the moment, is the major labels are kind of losing ground now, I would say, in the sense of getting the young artists or the new artists to kind of develop them and to put them out there. Like, they're not doing that. They're going for really well established artists, or they're going for TikTok sensations.
Yeah.
Have one daft little video that then propels them into the megasphere, and they're focusing a lot on that, whereas there's a lot of bands and artists at grassroots level are just having to do it on their own now, because it's so difficult to break through. And I think the smaller independent labels and artist-friendly deals is definitely becoming the more attractive proposition to look at these days, because when you sign for a big label, you could be left on the shelf for 4 or 5 years, not allowed to release anything.
Wow.
It's all up to them.
How frustrating that is.
You know, so...
Yeah, that's bad. So I was going to ask you, what's the best media then to, sell your music on at the moment? Is it like something like Spotify, or what's the best media to sell music these days? Has it all changed that as well?
In terms of the biggest sort of financial gain for us,
Yeah.
would be selling physical products at gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, merchandise.
Merchandise, is by far the biggest way to make any money. You really don't make anything off streaming. And
No.
unless you're getting the sort of millions, billions. I mean, even for 1 million streams, you only get, is it £4,000?
£4,000
for 1 million
Wow.
streams, and that's very, very difficult to get.
Gosh.
And £4,000 is not even going to cover,
recording costs.
recording and marketing costs. So
Yeah. I know YouTube has changed as well, hasn't it? I mean, one day when it first came out, I was quite into YouTube, and I had 4,000 videos on, and I was making quite a bit of money. Not 4,400, and I was making quite a bit of money, but it sliced it all the way down to you're hardly earning anything off it. It became where you couldn't really make any money out of it. They make some money out of it. Well, like you say, you have to have millions and millions of views, and it's all changed.
Yeah, I think you have to view social media streaming sites as a kind of marketing tool, really. So if you can just kind of be happy with the fact that you're probably not going to make your fortune from Apple and Spotify and all the digital sites, you're probably not going to make a proper living off that unless you're quite a big act that's got a lot of followers every month and a regular, consistent stream rate. If you're not there yet, then really the only mechanism to go out there is to go out and graft and do gigs and make fans, keep your fans close, build up that fan base, get out and do your own gigs, get out and actually do your own merchandise, your t-shirts, your CDs, and also try to get an agent to help you pitch your music to television and film as well, because that's kind of where the money is well for licensing. So
talking of television, you've just been on the TV, haven't you, this last weekend?
Scottish television, yeah, on the What's On entertainment programme. That was good fun.
How did that come about? Did they get in touch with you and just said you want to be? Yeah, fantastic.
Emailed, which was nice because a lot of what we do in music, you have to always be the one that's asking things and putting yourself out and stuff. So it is nice you get the odd thing when someone comes to you and says, would you like to do this? And so they invited us to be on the show, and they came through with their crew to Edinburgh. They're based in Glasgow. They came through to Edinburgh, and we went to a nice venue there, and we did the interview and did a few live songs for them as well.
That's
so
great. I mean, that exposure is brilliant, isn't it? That helps a big treat, that one, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, they said, I think they told us that they get more viewers in Scotland than the one show. So I was like,
there you go. Yeah,
and
brilliant.
Actually, it was really nice, Nigel, because after it was aired on Friday night, we started to get the spike of, we've got Facebook followers tonight, we've got some new Instagram followers. There was definitely a little bit of traction after the segment, so that kind of thing is just invaluable,
Yeah, you never know who's watching, you never know.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's great. So what's happening this year then, 2024? Are you out gigging? Obviously, you've got a few gigs already lined up, haven't you?
got some festival shows, yeah. So we're doing the EDF festival in the island of Benbecula.
Right.
So it's absolutely beautiful. It's
Mhm.
it's like the tropics of Scotland. It's got white sandy beaches and
Wow, never been there. I
yeah,
must get up there a bit more to Scotland. It's
yeah,
a bit since I've been now. We used to go quite a lot with my mum and dad always used to take me up there, tour all around, but it's beautiful, isn't it? It's absolutely wonderful.
gorgeous. So we've got that to look forward to. And then the same weekend in July, we're off to Bute Fest on the Isle of Bute. And then we've got another festival that we're going to be announcing soon. We can't say too much, but that's going to be
Okay.
cool. And then we're playing Darvel Music Festival for our friends Skerryvore, so we'll be opening for them in November. But there'll probably be more shows as well that we'll be doing in the year. So
Have you been
yeah.
busy writing a bit more music and some new songs?
We have, yeah, just trying to be behind the scenes and be busy coming up with new content. Because it's like we've got to give the fans something new to listen to,
Yeah.
and put out some new material. So yeah, we've been working really hard.
Has your material slightly changed from when you first started? Have you changing your direction slightly?
I would say this new stuff is a little bit, actually. Don't want to give too much away, but it's
No.
I suppose we first kind of started out in that organic pop sound. So when you go back to the beginning of Tides and the Christmas track and City of Stars, there was guitars and there was all that there. And then during COVID, because we had to be recording remotely,
Yeah.
we took on quite a strong pop sound. So it was quite a lot of kind of electronic music. I mean, obviously you had played the piano and then I did a little bit of guitar, put that in the tracks, but it definitely went pop, the other way pop. This time we're just going back a little bit into that kind of darker organic pop space. So back
Yeah.
to guitars and back to that kind of real nice sort of, I don't know what you would call it, but it's
Proper
a
music.
proper music.
No, proper music. We're not. I mean, all this. I'm not against pop music or anything like that. But I know it's like manufactured. Some of it, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there is a lot of it that is quite heavily manufactured by what samples and things. It's quite accessible now, I think,
Yeah.
music. Lots of people that want to create, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's a market for everyone and
Yeah. Of
every
course.
style. And we were quite conscious of that when we did that full pop sound, that we still wanted to make sure that we had proper harmonies in there, that there was acoustic guitar sitting under it or a bit of electric guitar on some of the songs, and the pianos were played in. Like, we did keep our integrity with that pop sound, but I just feel like now we're definitely going down that kind of organic pop route. So hopefully get a slightly more timeless sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same. We always write. We write pop music. That's what we write. It's the songs are going to be melodic pop. That's never
Yeah.
going to change.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, what Caroline was saying is we just want to go for a slightly more timeless
Yeah.
production on our tracks. But hopefully still the same Eve's
Oh yeah.
sound with
Oh yeah.
harmonies and things.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
They say that everything now is going a little bit more quality wise. In everything that we've got on the internet, people want quality, not just volume of stuff. And then I think they're right, aren't they? I think maybe that's where you're probably already going, isn't it? Your songs, and you said they're not just pop songs. There's a bit more quality going into it, like a bit more thought, a bit more like humanized, aren't they? A bit more natural. Am I right in saying that?
I think you want to get as much emotion into the songs as you possibly can,
Yeah,
because I think the emotion is what people connect with. If it's a genuine emotion in a song or, a feeling or whatever, you want that to come across as much as you can
yeah,
without flattening that out in production. So I think.
And I think a lot to do with a lot of pop production now is in the vocals, where it can be quite compressed and there's a ton of auto tune on. And there have been instances that we've said,
yeah,
you pare back the auto tune, please, because it doesn't even sound like us. And we actually asked to take it off or dial it right back. I mean, every song that you hear on the radio,
Mm-hmm.
there's something going on with the vocals, right? That is just how music is made now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there are people who take it really,
Yeah.
really far. And I do find a lot of pop music these days is quite samey sounding, and there's quite a lot of stuff out there that's just not setting my world on fire.
Yeah, definitely.
Like we go back to that sort of 80s and 90s kind of melodic, anthemic pop music, and even the ballads had something to say. And I think it always comes back to the song and that story of the song, and can people relate? And that's definitely what we've always tried to maintain with our music every
Yeah.
step of
And I think it's nice that they want to get to know you. And that's all the advantage of going on a podcast like we're doing now, is they're actually finding out a little bit more about what you're all about, aren't they? They like to know, don't they? And then they feel like you're a friend after a little bit, and they'll follow you. And it's all about getting people to follow you and support you in some sort of way, isn't it? And they feel like you're a bit of a friend, and like when you bring a new song out, they're going to listen to it straight away. And it's going back to really the old days, isn't it? When we used to, I remember as a kid, you followed a band or you followed a few bands, and as soon as they released a record, you used to buy it.
That's it.
You didn't really think if it was any good, to be honest with you, but you used to buy it. And then when you got it back home, you thought, it's not that good, actually. But I think we're going
Because
round.
it's great to people, isn't it? And I think, for us, if there's anyone new out there that's kind of tuning in to find out about us, we're actually genuine working class people. We work around the clock. We've
Yeah.
got other jobs, we've got day jobs to pay the bills. We'd love to be full-time musicians. This is what we want to do. But obviously, we're not there yet because we're not big mega stars. So we're just working hard, and we're writing songs, and we're going out and we're doing the gigs, and we're doing the festivals, and we're doing our best. And this is the graft. This is the hard stuff, the graft
Yeah.
of to go for your dreams, really.
I think everybody thinks it's super easy just to do, don't they? And they just think, I just want to be
I
a
wish
pop
it
singer.
was.
Yeah. Yeah. All illusions of the music industry ever being easy. If I don't think I ever thought it was easy, but I don't think when you enter into it, you realize just how much you have to hang in there. You
Yeah.
really have to be resilient. You have to be comfortable with rejection every
Yeah.
single
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And
Thick skin.
yeah, you've got to be
Yeah, yeah.
thick-skinned. I mean, record labels these days, they would turn down the Beatles, and I know that Beatles were turned down by a couple of people before they were signed, but they wouldn't even get a look in unless they had,
A billion streams already.
yeah, they wouldn't even be listened to probably, and that's
Yeah.
really sad. There's so many
It's sad.
talented people out there, people who really should be making it, but unless they have money or followers or anything like that, they're not going to be heard. So something does need to change, I think.
Well,
in
I
that.
think you're nearly there. You're nearly there to becoming super big, I think, because you've got a great sound, and it's a unique sound. And when we played it on the radio, I used to always think it was a great song. When I look at the playlist and you think, oh, I like playing that one. And you act as if you like playing them all, but you don't really. But you think, oh, that's a good one, And I think you've got a unique blend as well, and a very unique blend there. And it's just a good sound. So I think you're going to do really well. I've got a feeling. I don't know whether I should say this, but I thought this year is going to be a big year for you. And I don't know whether I said that last time. I hope I didn't. But anyway, this year, no, because when I was reading your bio, I thought, you're practically there, aren't you, really? Not far off, really, there now. I've been something really big.
Yeah, we just need a lucky break, don't we? Because we've done a lot of that kind of emerging artist stuff. We've done a load of stuff. We've opened for huge acts like Sister Sledge and Belinda Carlisle, and
Yeah.
we've tours up and down the UK. We're actually getting asked to go overseas a lot by fans. We've been on Radio 2. We've been playlisted. We've got our music onto the Kardashians on Disney Plus.
Wow.
There's definitely been a bit of momentum, but we don't take it for granted because it's just sliding doors every day with music. You never know what's going to happen the next day.
All right. Before we go, how can people find out a little bit more about you? Have you got a website?
We do have a website. It's theeves.co.uk, and on social media you can get us on Facebook and Twitter, or X now as it's called,
Yeah.
at Eves Music, and Instagram at the Eves Music UK. We've got TikTok as well, but we're still sitting on the fence with that one. We don't want to become comedians, so we don't really know what to put on there.
Can't take TikTok seriously for some reason. It's just a bit of a joke, isn't it?
Nonsense.
Yeah. It's been great speaking to you. Anyway, I love having a chat with you. I'll catch up again. I'll try and not leave it 2 years this next time. Maybe next year, after this busy year and you've got Christmas over, we'll have another catch up and see how you're getting on.
Yeah,
you might be megastars by then. You might not want to speak to me.
No,
you don't know.
That's all.
You never know.
Thank you.
Never
It's
know.
so lovely to chat to you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
it's lovely chatting you. Wish you all the best, and thanks again for sparing the time to chat to us as well. And we'll put all your details as well under the podcast, and so everybody can find out a little bit more about you. The wonderful thing about podcasts is people can look 2 years down the line and you're still there, and the interviews are still there. And that's the better thing about radio, is just sort of a bit of a throwaway interview. I find you do the next week, it's somebody else. So I think podcasting is a good way to go, actually. So I never thought about doing this, but I think it is,
Absolutely.
Well, good luck with it, Nigel, and keep going with it, because like you say, it's, it is a nice thing to do. It's there, and it'll be there for a few years to come. So stick with it.
I will do, and we'll be back in touch soon. Okay, thanks again.
Thanks
You
a lot.
take
You
care.
take care.
Thank you. Bye.
If you loved what you heard, make sure to hit subscribe on this podcast channel to never miss an episode. Stay connected and become part of the Sans Showbiz family by following us on our social media platforms. Your ticket to the heart of showbiz awaits every Monday. In the world of showbiz, there's always another story waiting to be told. See you next time.